week 2 of the golden era of Heart to Hearties. This is the official Hearties after show where we bring your questions directly to the cast and crew. I'm Chelsea from Puerto Rico.
I'm Dawn from North Carolina.
I'm Lori from Alabama.
And we are super excited to welcome a director who has contributed 16 episodes to One Calls a Heart over the years, starting in season 2 and extending through the first block of season 12. So, Hearties, meet Mike Rohl.
Yay!
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm Mike Rohl, originally from Calgary, Alberta, but now I live in Vancouver, home of One Calls a Heart.
Perfect. Well, this is our first time that we've had you for a guest.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
We're
I'm not going to say anything. But
Oh,
no, it's a pleasure and a privilege to be here to share, the experiences on the show. It's important to me. It's important to the show, because honestly, the Hearties energize a lot of us.
I love it.
To do the job.
we're so happy to have you.
Yes.
Thank you.
It's so exciting. So you started us off with episodes 1 and 2 this year. So tell us about this blog, when it was filmed, and if there's like an advantage to being the first director of the season.
Great, yeah. We started in, I think it was mid-July, which is different than a lot of years. A lot of years we tended to start a little bit later, but we decided that we wanted to get weather on our side of Vancouver. So we started in July, and beautiful time to be out at the set, and that was it was really, really nice. The advantages are, as a director, it's nice to sort of be involved early on a project. I can have the conversations with the showrunners. I can get a big picture idea of what's going to happen. And I was lucky enough this year to not only direct the first block, but I was invited to stick around as one of the creative producers as well.
Wow.
Yeah, which was a really bonus for me because it allowed me to work with Lindsay, the showrunner, and get a bigger picture thing. And then my job was basically to be able to make sure that the directors that were coming up just had all their information and had everything available to them to succeed. And so it was nice to have a little bit of insight into the writer's room, what happens there, and be able to translate it to all the creative elements on the show. So it was good. It was good. And I got to sort of take what's fun about the first episode. There's always a little bit of the previous season that you can remind everybody about, and then dovetail into how the story has progressed, any new characters, any new twists and turns that come along. And it also allows me to allows anybody who does this job to be able to include anything new that we wanted to do to the show that might be a little different, or how could we add to it a little bit. It's been going on for 11 seasons, so
Absolutely.
it's there. But we're always trying to innovate. And one of the things that we became aware of is that we want to get elements on our side, and that's when we really realize how lucky we are out there shooting, is that we have nature on our side. So we try to include nature more, and try to include a little bit more cinematic flavor to the show, wherever we could. And nature was the easy way to do it.
Yeah, you know what? And segue to this next question. So perfect. We're talking about the nature for the national park, and so the episode was called "You Get What You Give." Yeah. So that was Derek Thompson, our writer, veteran writer. We love his work. So we were anxious to know what he produced this year. So it's a lot of prominent role with the nature stuff. So you already talked about that. So talk about the scene with the kids. And I don't know how many kids you had, 25. How many kids do you have in that scene? That
was about, I think you're right, that between the acting kids and our extras kids, I think you're probably right. It was about 20, 25 kids.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
Quite the group.
So how do you, talk to us about how you do all those ages, muddy in a natural, picturesque world, and then do that field scene. How did you, was it a full day? Talk to me about that.
Yeah, it was, we stage a lot of that stuff away from our town, and it takes the company a little bit to move all our stuff
Mhm.
about a quarter of a mile away from the town into this beautiful little forested area that we're lucky enough to have right on the property. And so a lot of times when there's some nature stuff, we like to go out there. And of course, in our story, this was a chance for Elizabeth to take the kids out for some alternative learning by, getting them closer to nature. And so it was a great opportunity to get out there again. And the kids, of course, love it because kids are kids. And I know on part of that particular day, it was very beautiful, sunshiny, it was gorgeous. And so, oftentimes, kids are being kids, you kind of have to remind them that they're at work, right? And so,
Sure.
and the parents are off to the side, and oftentimes in the group scenes, we have the parents there. We set up a little video village of their own so they can see kids on TV and stuff. And, from time to time, a mom or a dad had to come out and just go, hey, come on over here. Let's wrangle you all together. But they were all into it. They love being on the show. And there's a lot of repeat kids that are showing up and they love it. What better summer job can you have than being on a TV show? So
exactly.
So that was easy. And then, later on that day, and I think if you recall, there was a scene where they found a wolf print.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what happened to the weather, but it just came in and it was really, really raining hard.
Oh, really?
And we had to put tarps over the top of the set, and everybody was in their rain gear. Kids were in the tents over there. But I have to say, when it came time for them to come to set, they were little troopers. They just said, "Okay, let's go," and they all showed up, got under cover, right, and we went through that whole process. So they were very brave. It's good.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, the whole thing.
A lot.
It's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot. It
Yeah.
took about a day to do a lot of that.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
As a teacher, I'm impressed that you can wrangle that many kids to do that stuff. I love it.
Yeah, well, we have lots of helpers for sure. We have
Mhm.
AD department, and the parents are really actually very, very helpful. They help wrangle the kids, and big sisters, little brothers. They help out.
yeah.
Big brothers, little sisters, they help out too.
Mhm.
About the range of ages, though. I mean, I can't imagine.
Yeah.
Well, the tricky part with that, this is a technical thing too, is that there's certain rules about how long the kids can stay on set.
Right.
They have
Right.
breaks over certain times, and they have various age. The older you get, the longer you can stay. Right? Once you turn 17 or 18, you're an adult, so you end up staying. That's what happened to Jada this year. She crossed the line.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it used to be, I'm out of here in 10 hours.
No.
No. You're an adult now. You're staying, right? And from time to time, you're actually, you have to be careful. There's actually times when you might run out of time. And in fact, there was one time that we thought, we're not going to have time to keep the little ones around. So we rewrote the script in one of the schoolhouse scenes and basically took the conceit that, well, the older kids are taking subjects that are more for older kids. That's the kids could go out for recess with somebody looking after them, right?
Very
and that's
smart.
the problem right there.
Right. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Well, another nature scene that we had for episode 2 was Henry and Joseph. So that combination is one of my favorites on screen. Knowing that they're good friends outside of the work, and then knowing that that special relationship. I mean, Henry was our villain, and now we have a good friendship with the villain and the pastor. So it's just, it's evolved. But was there any underlying, for the characters that was being set up for this particular scene at all?
Well, I think what you're seeing at this party, we're getting close to a transition time where Gowan has come to peace and he's sort of found his place in the community, and he has a sort of a spiritual guide, a spiritual mentor, friend that helps him get there, and they're very good friends. They can work well together. I always think of those characters like Gowan. To me, I like Gowan because he used to be our bad guy.
Yeah,
he's sort of redeemed himself a little bit, but there's always a little bit of the dog in the person, right? So I sort of see him
that's
as
what we're saying,
kind of as a little bit of a guard dog or a sheepdog for the community.
right?
Once he's got a skill set and he's got capabilities, he's got means. There may be moments when there's nobody better to take care of whatever situation shows up than maybe Gowan coming up. You know, he's trying to live a life of peace and stuff like that. But you know, it's who knows? You just might need him to come into a sticky situation. And then as far as those two together, I think it's all positive. You know, they have a mutual friendship, but they're starting a new business. And where there's business, there's money, and then there's Emily, who you have to look out for. And I don't know anything. It's a more of a showrunner thing looking in the future. But right now, I think they're in a great place, and they'll probably stay that way for a while. But hey, listen, you never know. You never know.
Oh man, the idea of business, when you were just talking about that, I'm like, that
Yeah.
could be an interesting thing.
Very capable. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, then there was another scene was with Joseph and the kids in a circle.
Yeah.
And Emily, our soon-to-be graduate, was featured in that one. Can you talk about how you structured that particular scene?
Yeah, for sure. It was all meant to be, you know, Viv, I call him. I get the names mixed up. Viv.
Me too.
And Martin. By the way, I've known Martin for almost 30 years when he was a young
Really?
real on both
Wow.
the first jobs I directed. There he was. So I've known Martin. He's a good friend of mine, personal fan. Known him forever and stuff.
Wow.
So we have a good relationship. But what made that scene work is that we knew that we wanted to get the kids helping with the nuts and stuff like that. And there was the idea that somebody put a record on, you know, during this whole process, just to kind of have a soundtrack behind the whole thing. But when I saw or heard the selections of songs, I heard that natural beat of duh, duh. And I started thinking, wouldn't it be cool if there's a playful kind of kid point of view of how to make a sort of a sewing circle or a nut cracking circle. And so that's when we came up with the idea of like playing along to the music and having a crack and everybody giggling afterwards. It was totally spontaneous.
Really? So that was not part of the script at all?
That was so fun. That was really cool.
The music was, but I thought, you know, we could have the music there, but why not let the music leak into this? I love music in movies. I love it. And, you know, it's nice to find opportunities to showcase it. So how can the music, apart from just being, you know, accompanying the scene, affect the scene itself? And so we found a playful little way to do that.
Cool.
Yeah.
That was really fun.
Yeah. I'm glad.
Well, we go from the harmony of the kids with the music to the disharmony of the Hickams and their honeymoon.
Oh, no. Yeah.
We couldn't have been more surprised with their homecoming. So we need to hear about shooting in that soggy apartment of Mike's. Their love nest gone all wrong. How did that work out?
Well, I'll tell you what, it's we needed to find a place, of course, to be able to do all that stuff. And that's where you bring in two key people on the show, and that's Sarah Maberly, right? And her faithful companion, Blake Peterson, who's the set decorator, art director. You know, and we hunted around the sets and we tried to find an interior that we could make their place. And then it literally became about how wet should we make it. And I said, well, you know, if you're going to make it wet, you might as well make it really wet. Something bad happened there. You know, I know it was a window open, but it was open for a while. It was open and it rained for a while before they got back. So we might as well have fun with this. And so Sarah went to work and put peeling paper on the wall.
Yeah.
We rigged actually in the ceiling water tubes that could drip.
Oh no!
Anywhere around the set, you know, and just sell that idea of the water. And then when it came to shoot, Sammy Galli, our special effects guy, literally came in with a fire hose or a garden hose, we'll say, but it was pretty hefty. And just sprayed the whole thing down, got the carpet sopping, et cetera, et cetera. And it was fun to kind of. We went farther than everybody thought we would, because I'm like, look, this got to be like a movie. It's got to be really cool. And everybody did it, so they did it. The lamp was rigged with a little tripping device, and so when I just put a squirrel sound in there. Something runs by. You don't see what it is, but it knocks over the lamp.
I was gonna say there wasn't a real critter in there, was
it was pretty
Yeah,
weird.
it's like up to the audience's imagination what it is. It may be a rat for you,
100%.
a squirrel for you. So
100%. It also gave us a chance to establish a new. I don't know if you noticed where it was located. The exterior was located in the town, but it was in an area we hadn't really used before. The entrance into the apartment was just a facade. There's nothing inside it. It's empty. And so
Oh,
we
okay.
cleaned up a bit and were able to create a fresh new perspective on where people live in the town. Yeah.
Wow. Is that the one with the like between the church and the town? That,
Yeah,
like,
it's right on the corner, the yellow building. Yeah. It's
Okay.
across
Oh,
the street.
okay.
Yeah, across the street, kind of kitty corner from the judge's office.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
It was just a
Oh,
facade. So we thought, how can we take advantage of this? So we, between that exterior and then an interior and a completely on the other end of town, you put it all together and it looks like, a brand new apartment.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Great.
Very
Yeah.
cool.
We had never seen Mike's apartment. Like we had never seen it. So
I know.
now we saw it and it was all
Pretty fashionable.
It's a mess.
It's a mess, all right. Yeah. And who left the window open? Nobody knows. Nobody
Well, now
knows.
talking about that, we got to talk about that cool intercut where Faith is counseling May and Bill is counseling Mike about their stubborn disagreement. Now, who has the responsibility for that intercut mostly? Is it you as the director or is it the editor?
Well, first of all, it starts with the writers. They write it, and they sort of pattern the scene between it. And then, yes, between me and the editor, we design how the frames are going to cut together. And then Shane, who is my editor, basically found the ways to intercut it. And you'd have to set the frames specifically. So, when you cut between the two, classically what happens is one actor is on the left side of the frame. So when you cut to the other side, the other person's on the other side. So you get that feeling of them talking to each other. Sometimes you can do a split screen, but we chose to go just straight intercut based on the image as well as the dialogue. So kind of bounce back.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
Like
That was like cool how you went back and forth.
Like we did a similar trick during the radio show.
Oh, really?
yeah.
Remember where people would come and talk to Rosemary, and every time they talked, we did a thing called a swish pan where we pan off them and then pan to somebody else, and we got that little circle thing.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
That's something that Lisa and I talked about, and Andrew Kopp, the DP, he helped the camera guys set that up.
Yeah.
And gives a lot more action to everything.
Yeah, we're trying to take, we're always trying to upgrade the show, not change it, but just find ways of improving it, like nature and more cinematic angles. We always want to make that part when we can as epic as we can. I have this saying where, you want to see the spaces, but you want to see the faces.
Right.
I like that.
Well, that was interesting because Kevin was the same. He was talking about that as well.
Oh,
So
good.
the cinematography, the things that are, because we've been, how many seasons? So we're now at season 12.
Yeah.
Has to be going forward. So, but we see it. We've really enjoyed the upgrade for the cinematography.
I'm glad you noticed. I think, that'll pat Andrew on the back when I see him next.
Yeah.
We're definitely noticing new angles, new perspectives. It's really cool.
Yeah, and those intercut scenes in the radio show, I was like, well, look at that. It's kept the scene very dynamic.
Yeah.
So that was really cool.
That's the goal. We want to keep the pace going, keep people, engaged, and there's lots of challenges with the years.
Yeah.
Well done.
Thank you.
These two episodes were different. Like the first episode, The Mountie Way, it had a lot of like those profound like one-on-one scenes, and then episode 2 had a lot of like larger scenes, like the radio show, like we talked about, the kids in the mercantile, the potluck. So talk to us about those big crowd scenes that you shot in like small spaces, like the row house.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Mercantile. I bet there's some challenge to that.
There is. It's a signature of the show. You've noticed over the years that it's an ensemble cast, and there's nothing better than showing all our cast members as much as we can in the same scene. That's always really great. And you have to be pretty prepared technically, while at the same time allowing the actors to express themselves, be able to do things within the scenes. And so it's a little bit depending on what set you are. Outside's easier, more space. But yeah, you're right. In the small sets, I like to call it playing movie Tetris. You know, we'll put the camera here, which means you guys can't come here. When you come over here, we're gonna put the camera over there.
Right?
You know, and then Anna will say, "Oh, it's better to see the window," and I'll go, "Oh, okay, better." I have this saying, another saying that I've sort of figured out over the years is that, you know, those kinds of scenes where you've got cast members, you know, where you have to manage, you split the scene up in little chunks and make sure that when they all look at each other, they're all looking in the right direction. And you have to make a really good plan. And I have this saying that, you know, you come into a situation like that 100% ready to let it all go. And what I mean by that is I come in with a solid plan that if, you know, somebody's got to start somewhere and somebody's got to know what they're doing, but allowing for actors to say, well, what if I did this? Or what if I did that? And the DP saying, you know, it might be nicer if we look this way a little bit more for that part, so that you can adapt to the whole thing. So you're always in a situation of creating and adapting, and you know, it's one of the great lessons you learn on When Calls the Heart as a director is how to do big crowd scenes. You know, they're challenging, but we get them done. You know, it's fun. Yeah,
Really well. And something that took center stage in episode 2 was the comic books. And Brian Shively of Lake Havasu, Arizona asks if you could explain the role you played in the creation of Captain Billie and Nancy, the genius dog. Like, do you have any like influence on that?
absolutely. What happened in that one is it came out across the script as the name of the comic book, which kind of gave us an idea of kind of what it was. It was sort of an adventure story with a little girl and a dog. And it didn't go much beyond sort of the detail of what's in the comic book. So I took it on. I said, you know what? I'm going to make up this comic book. I'm going to make up a comic. First time in my life, I'm going to make up a comic book. So what I did is I created a very basic narrative where it starts with Billie and the dog, and Billie, she's trying to make a spaceship. So she makes a spaceship out of a garbage can, right? Goes into her uncle's garage and gets the bits and pieces, puts it together, and she's got a rocket ship, which she gets into and flies to Mars, right? With putting, you know, like glass bowls on their heads and that kind of stuff. The dog too, and they fly land on the moon, on Mars. They actually get there and they land on the Mars. They open the door and look out, and there's like a Martian landscape. They get their backpack on, and I don't know how they're breathing, but they're
Comic book.
and they get out of this little spaceship, and they walk along, and they start seeing, like in the old classic westerns, heads kind of popping up in the distance, you know, and they have antennas on them and stuff like that. Then they get kidnapped. They get captured by the mean aliens.
Oh,
yeah, it's like you know, they're mostly friendly, but then the big mean one comes along and scoops them up, and then takes them back to the lab and puts them on a table to sort of figure out what these things are. And before they can get any further, Billie thinks fast and kicks this laser beam that hits the machinery and starts everything crackling and smoking, and then they run away and escape in the spaceship and fly back. Now that's a lot, right?
oh, I love it.
Wow.
You have to do something. So what's unfortunate is that when it finally came to them, I was ready to see how much we could see of this man. We saw little clips, and that's one of the funny things about filmmaking is that you have a lot of times you have a lot of prep for something, but you see a flash of it here and there. But I'm actually quite proud of that comic book, and you know, I said we should sell this. We should sell it.
Yeah. Hearties would buy it.
Well, I'm thinking 10-year-old Mike was really enjoying that whole creative process.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. It was a little.
No wonder the kids were lined up at the mercantile trying to get. That's a cool book.
Exactly.
Absolutely, yeah.
I love it. Oh my gosh. So it has been interesting, and going through, you know, IMDb, things that you have worked with this show. And like this, I think episode 2 was that you were filming little Jack going to school.
Yeah.
And then season 2, you shot his father building the schoolhouse. So, oh dear. Sorry, I'm doing with this. Saskia, sorry. Like, oh my word, from Netherlands, and I butchered her name last time too, so I'm so sorry, Saskia.
Sorry, Saskia.
So she was asking, is there one scene over your tenure on the show that stands out as the most challenging or most rewarding?
Great question, and that's the one that I reflected on a lot, because it has been a lot of work I've done on the show, and it has gone back a few years and stuff. So there's been multiple moments that have, been memorable for me. And I just let myself sort of think of what's the first thing that kind of popped into my mind. And, I got a chance to do one of the Christmas movies years ago. And that was nice because we were able to take, our people and put them in that Christmas environment, which I think elevates the show quite a bit, especially around that time of year. And I really enjoyed doing that. That Christmas movie really, really stood out for me. And there's the arrival of Allie and the whole controversy around her dad and dad coming to town, and Nathan standing up for her. I really liked that stuff. It was like a good chance to see Nathan become a family man and, stand up for the good, that I really enjoyed doing that scene. And there's others like this last one, finding the medal and how the medal became a symbol.
Oh, wow.
I mean, that stands out because it affected not only Elizabeth, but he's starting to tear up here. It's emotional because Jack was so special.
Yes.
And he's back, and it's a symbol that is going from Elizabeth to his son. And if you're a parent and you've had grandparents or whatever, that passing on of stuff is really, really important. And so that one I felt a lot, passing that medal on and how the medal got passed around as a symbol of courage. To me, that's some of the moral messages that are really valuable to come off the show. We're all about sending out moral messages, and that to me is one about bravery and courage and caring for somebody else. And so that was very, very memorable. And the list goes on. Gowan with his son, you find out he has a son, his son comes back, and they reconcile. And there's a brighter future there. There was the building of the church was a significant thing. Shooting it was great, but just over the years, going back to it and remembering that, I was here when it was first being built, and it was, Jack was alive and the dog was there, the Basset Hound. I don't know if you remember the Basset Hound. So many things from the past. There was a scene where we had lanterns floating over the top of the middle of the town. And what else? Two more things. There was kind of a prophetic scene of it was a parade of Mounties coming into town, and we thought Jack was missing, and it's Elizabeth literally running into the ground of the Mounties, and where's Jack? Where's Jack? And running into the bar, and there's nothing but red surge everywhere until she finds out that he's there, riding in late. And they rush to each other. It's the classic picking her up in the arms and spinning and kissing. It's classic cinema, an emotional connection between the two people we care about the most. And that was then, and so that was great. And of course, when the Canfields came into town and brought in the family element to the whole thing, and the fun fact is that three of them are in the same family, right? That's a really cool thing. And again, what a summer job to have, to hang out with your dad, work on a TV show. So there's lots, and that's the tip of the iceberg, but there's so many. And also as a fan of watching the show, you get to see so much too.
Sure. Well, I was there for the Red Surge scene. Yeah, so you were directing that, and there was two of us that we were on set that day. And,
okay.
And so I remember all of that. And so it takes time. I mean, the going from the main street, you have to go through, and then we're doing it again, and the whole parade. I mean, it was just, I can't even explain how that moved me anyway, because I love the show, and but that particular scene was just, when Aaron just run out of the saloon, and so
the mud and the dirt, and for the man she loves. So many things.
Yeah, you went down that list. You're the one I need to send my Kleenex bill to.
Oh no!
I cried so much. And very emotional, and you did it great. Oh my gosh, all those scenes.
That's what we try to do. We try to find the humanity, people, the moral message, and community, all these sorts of things that are really important. We try to reflect that in the show. The writers do a great job, and all the actors, every single one of them, are completely engaged and the whole thing. And if a new person comes along, they feel it, and the show is kind of well known around Vancouver as like, there's a family here. I'm not, I'm serious too. It's just like, there's a great energy. People want to come to the show because I call it summer camp for filmmakers, right? Because it's a beautiful place with people that want to be there, which we're telling great stories. So
yeah. No,
and you all know how to pull our heartstrings. We keep going back for more of it, so it's wonderful.
What a testament to whatever it is that the secret sauce.
Yeah, and it shows on screen too.
Oh yeah,
great. Yeah.
Perfect.
That's the thing.
Yeah. So, kind of another gear of talking about Hyland. We were talking about that. You shot him to go to school, but he was a chatterbox this year. And this particular episode, that it was so apparent that he had more lines, things like that. So we have two people that we're talking about, Judy Glenn of Baltimore and Stella Rogemont of Quebec. Wondered how you helped him deliver that performance.
Well, I'll be honest with you. He's a very bright young guy, and a 1 year difference makes a big difference from what he was a year ago to what he is now. And he likes being there. And I think, success leaves clues, and you become your peer group. And right now he's hanging out with a bunch of cool people that are actors. And so even as young as he is, he's starting to get it, what everybody's doing. And I think he sees how hard everybody else is trying to be real under imaginary circumstances, right?
Yeah.
And he's starting to get it. He's starting to click in. And he's matured a whole year, and so he's become dependable, focused. He's still young, and when we're in between takes, he turns into a stand-up comic. I mean, talk about a chatterbox. Jokes keep coming. They're 5-year-old jokes from the playground, but one after the other after the other. Everybody's like, Hyland, what's up? And stuff. And so, but he's a great guy, and I call him the great Hallando, because sometimes to get him focused, I pretend that I'm in the royal kingdom of Hyland.
Oh,
the great Hallando is required on set. Please come. And kind of play along and come to set. When we try to play with rocks. That kind of stuff.
Fun.
Hyland, you need to go upstairs. Why do I need to do that? The great Highlander must go to his laboratory up into the tower of the castle. So you play. Eloise is really good at that too. Yeah, he is like Peter's basically the giant version of Hyland. Sometimes he's very.
We knew that he was part of getting Hyland early days to get him out of his cell and things like that. So we did an interview with Peter and Hyland, and it was at a Zoom, and they're separate locations. You have to. That edit was a long time because I had to clip so many things that just made sense. But it was so funny. But I'm really looking forward to maybe having just a small conversation with Hyland now, because and he was good with HFR.
It's really good.
Yeah, he's answered questions, and Elliot was really good with him too. So
amazing. Yeah.
It's so funny. So last season, you directed Along Came a Spider, and that was the introducing Jeanette. What is it? Aquan. So this year, you have the distinction to introduce our next one, Edie Martle. Yeah, having Lucas in his new office in Capital City. This is the first time we've seen that for this particular show. So Minnie Beth of Plain City, Ohio wants to hear about the task of introducing new sets and new characters.
Right. Yeah, we're always about bringing new characters to the show because, of course, it injects, new possibilities. When it comes to sets, when you design a set, you design it with the episode you're doing in mind, but you also have to think ahead to any possibilities of what could happen in that set, so that when you design it, it's gonna capture a lot of the events that happen in it. Most of our places are, offices and stuff, and we're not too worried about things that could happen there, but that's where the showrunner comes in handy, because they know the arcs of how everything are going to go. So when we find out what's the set, how's it going to work, we can design sets around that. It happens all the time. That's usually how you approach that. We try to use our space at One Calls the Heart efficiently, and we've gotten really good at trying to make places that we've used to look like something else, or we build something to get a fresh look. The forest, all sorts of little tricks that we use just to get these multiple things. When it comes to new characters, of course, they all come to town for a reason.
Right.
The reason, or a bad reason, or maybe we think it's one way but it's actually going the other way, or vice versa. That's where we want to keep everybody guessing exactly what motivates folks. So even though they might be doing one thing, they might be thinking another. We know this, right?
Right.
I have to be careful because I'm very, very prone to giving things away. So I'm going to be very careful.
We'll take them. We'll take them.
Just know that the writers created an arc for Edie that puts her in a great light, surprises, some cool things, some fun things and stuff like that. I think everybody will be very, very happy with this new character and what she brings to the show. The actress herself is very charismatic. She's really, really great, and she's very experienced. And we all knew when we were casting that she stuck out. She was like, this lady's got some pep. It'd be interesting to see what happens, in the show.
Yeah. Well, my prediction, she was so buttoned up. The glasses and the hairband, and I'm like, I'm ready for her to just do the pin and just flowing
let loose.
All of a sudden, because one scene that was Lucas had like a facial expression when she left a room somewhere. I'm like, oh, something's
Yeah, I don't know what happened, but I kind of watched her leave, and I thought, does she like him? I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, it keeps us. We're intrigued.
Tease us some more.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
Always guessing.
But sometimes, like I said, guests come along and they have secrets. They have secrets sometimes, so you never know what's really happening.
Oh, no.
I don't know.
Come on, really?
Maybe not her, maybe some other characters. I'm just saying, in general.
In general. Okay, yeah, in general.
Never know what's going to happen.
I love it.
That's right. But I think you'll really enjoy her in the show. She elevated the show, and we always love that when people can come in and pick it up a gear.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm. I have to tell you, there is one scene that I really want to know more about, and this is one that production designer Sarah Maberly talked about with Edify this week about creating that train set.
Yeah. Yes.
We know that y'all kind of use the saloon as a swing set for lots of different things, but this was a whole nother level. Mm-hmm. How it involves some special effects to make it shake and sway. Talk to us about setting up that scene, including how, I guess it was a green screen to make the scene out the window.
Yeah, well, like I, was saying earlier, we were looking for opportunities to expand the scope of the show, right? So the train car gave us a chance to travel people from one place to another and to be able to cinematically show that. We had some shots of the train in a big wide country traveling along this little train that brought scope, that cinematic flavor to the show. Mm-hmm. And so to sell that, building the train car, we had choices. What kind of train car are we going to build? And I said, well, a lot of times, this is the way I got to how we made the train car. Is I said a lot of times they have really important discussions in the saloon, sitting in one of the booths. So what if we took a booth sized compartment that it's pretty, you see it in Europe and you see it in North America, it's just a compartment. Make a train car that size, and then out the window we'll put a green screen so that, again, as the scene progresses, you once in a while you cut to the wide shot, and out the window you get to see the world going by. And in my scenes, it was pretty, they were just traveling, and there goes the countryside. But it also affords us for reflective scenes where somebody could look out the window and see the scenery go by, and let the outside affect the emotion of that character inside by just simple things as nature going by, towns going by. That's what we plan to do with the train cars, have opportunities to try to, expand our universe. Shooting it, I don't know if Sarah explained, but we have these things called wild walls, which basically means all the walls around it can pull away, so that we can put the actors in the seats, and we can shoot behind them comfortably instead of us all being crunched up in that little space. So that between the wild walls, the green screen, the shaking, sound effects, the actors' reactions, like when Eric came through the door, and he's looking at the shirt. Love that character. That character's one of my faves. He's about that guy is he does a really good job at sliding that door open and stepping inside and shaking. It's just to get us some more cinematic size of thing, and just take us someplace we've never been before.
How do you do the swaying and all of that?
What happens is they build a big metal box inside of which we build our set with wood, so it's strong. Underneath we have a couple different variations. This one I think was airbags put underneath that were various pressure.
Interesting.
And what you could do is you could take a rod, like an extension, a steel rod, and you could just simply kind of move it. It was very easy to move, and
really
rough. You could, I hit a bump, so you hit it a little harder, and then this way, or it again like this. And between that and the actors wiggling and jiggling, it makes it real, because they don't have to do this. It does it itself, so the body will move naturally to whatever we're doing.
Oh, that is cool.
Yeah. Again, another Sammy Galley special. He did the wet, grippy room, and he also built that in record time, I might add, very quickly.
Really? Well, that is really cool.
Yeah.
Well, that is really, I wouldn't say that was an over the top scene, but we're going to go to somebody who's over the top. Rosemary.
Yes.
She was really kind of over the top this week, and just loved the moment when the wind hit her sails. So is it challenging to keep Rosemary like in the scene when she has so much physicality that she's doing within that scene? Is it hard to keep her in the frame?
We have this rule that wherever Rosemary goes, there goes the camera. If Rosemary goes here, we're going over there.
Love that good rule. That's good.
We accommodate whatever. Again, it's like I was talking earlier about the sets, allowing for the actors to express themselves in the environments that we provide them, and we're really good at that. Honestly, with Pascal's character and the way she's chosen to portray it and stuff like that, which is very theatrical sometimes. It's what I love about Pascal. I've worked with her before outside of the show, so I know her capabilities, and they're great. And you see that on the show when we can mix pathos. One of my favorite mixes is pathos and humor, and we know that her and Kevin are just like a dynamite couple. And then it gets serious and it gets emotional. She is spot on. I think that's what makes her character really rich and have a lot of depth, and how their relationship, husband and wife relationship, is how the dynamics are working out. One's a little kind of crazy, and the other one's a little more grounded, but they love each other and they giggle and laugh. It's really well. So, but no, we're really good at that. It's there was a scene in that same episode where they come up with the idea of like, we could read the news on the radio. Imagine that. We could read the news on the radio. Great idea.
Right.
She across the street, and she walked in, and she wanted to walk up and down and come forward to the camera for that big ta-da thing. And so we just kind of went with it and just kind of built it. And she's very, very, very aware technically of what cameras are and the capabilities. She's a veteran, so she knows what to do. She knows how to work the camera very, very well. And so it makes our life very easy.
Wow.
We love it because it's so fun to watch her, the
Right.
whole range. But
Yeah.
I have to ask that the potluck scene, as she's coming in carrying Goldie with the pie,
Yeah.
that door just flew open.
Yeah.
How did y'all do that? Did she kick it or was it
Yeah.
somebody pulling it open?
No. She
No.
came up with the baby. I think her arms must have been tired or something. And that pie was real pie. It must have weighed 12 pounds. It was like nothing but pure apple and sugar. So, and she wanted to make a big entrance, and she booted the door open, came in with Goldie, and ta-da! Here we are.
Yes.
Another Rosemary entrance.
Love that entrance. I love it.
Funny, there's a little thing, I don't know if anybody's mentioned or noticed, but Goldie's 2 now. And throughout some of the shooting, she's been pretty quiet. And there were times we'd be in the middle of a scene and she'd just start talking. Birdie. Okay, yeah. And then one scene, I think, is after Calvin had left town. They were going to go to.
I remember that. Yeah.
She just improvised. Do you want to go for a snack? Yeah.
Yep.
So she's starting to communicate now, and so we're improvising with a 2-year-old. It's really.
Oh,
Someone
cool.
was saying that's her first SAG card for that.
Too.
I know, 2 years
I
old.
love it. That's funny.
Yeah, it's really fun.
So, speaking of physicality, Pia Serrano of Jacksonville, Florida wonders, she's very intrigued by this. So was Elizabeth buttoning Nathan's surge in episode 1? She would like to search through any edited footage of that. Can you confirm?
What? She was. Yeah, I don't think it made the cut. But the reason we did that was we were finding ways to connect them in a way that we haven't seen before, just with a little bit more familiarity, a little bit, more loving moments. And yeah, it was a great idea. We put the surge on. She did a few buttons. You can kind of tell she's doing it. So it was kind of a bit of a tease. And I'm glad somebody notices it. Wait. So
yeah. That's our Hearties.
Oh yeah,
we're gonna notice everything.
I'm very observant. That's what, like I said earlier, I'm careful. I'm not gonna, as I say one thing, it'd be like you guys will figure everything out, right? You want to.
I was gonna say, I call them the HBI, the Hearties Bureau of Investigation. Because every time we have any, like even a trailer or a promotion picture, whatever, they are like zooming in and oh, what's that? I'm like, okay, I didn't see it, but now I see it.
Yeah.
Sherlock Holmes has nothing on the Hearties. So.
I believe it.
Yeah, they're good.
Yeah. And something that we Hearties really enjoy doing is rewatching the episodes. So is there like a little Easter egg or a clue to the like unfolding story in season 12 we should pay attention to? Like in the first 2 episodes, is there a clue there or anything that particularly intrigued you that you want us to put, our magnifying glass on?
You're trying to get me in trouble. I guess what I could say is that just keep an eye on some of our new characters. Like I said before, some may not appear to be who they are. There's some pretty high stakes things that are going to be happening through the season. That you want to sort of catch that red thread, I call it. See if you can catch the red thread. The showrunners have come up with some great arcs, some really interesting twists and turns and unexpected events that happen. They're very unexpected. Ooh. That's what I'll say. And so, just keep an eye on those characters, and you'll be surprised. And that's the whole idea: is we want to surprise people and keep it fresh, And these new characters coming in, and our old ones, or original ones, I should say. They've got some tricks up their sleeves. That's basically all I'm gonna say.
Oh,
well, I'm excited. Truly, that's what I needed to hear. So that's perfect.
There's some fun stuff.
Keep an eye out.
Yeah.
All right, you've all been to pot stirring school. We know now. You can stir that pot up.
Yeah.
Well, Mike, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you so much for just kind of telling us some of the technical things, giving us a glimpse into the preparation, the imagination, that you guys bring to us in all these episodes. Thank you so much.
You're
And
welcome.
thank you for all 16 episodes that you brought us.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's always been a privilege to work on the show. You know, working with Brian and Brad Cavoy and the whole gang. It's a great gang. So I'm very happy, and hopefully we get to do more of it, and hopefully we can talk again, because we love connecting with the Hearties. The Hearties are part of the foundation of this whole thing, and so we're very grateful. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. And thank you, Hearties, for submitting your questions every week, every Sunday night during the season for Heart to Hearties. We love bringing your observations and your questions to our cast and crew. And now, our next Heartieship game with show creator and executive producer Brian Bird.
Hearties, we have drafted Brian Bird again for the game that we like to play, Heartieship. We know that we can get some more info out of him. You really came through last week, Brian. Wow. So let's keep that.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I might find a sucker and an easy mark for you.
Well, last season I did, particularly with the mystery, I did at one point compile the whole list of Heartieship hits so that we could see where we were. So
How they do? They bat 500 or what?
no, the Hearties are incredible. Yes,
Yeah.
they do. Yes, they do bat 1,000. So there you go. All right. So you remember in this game, you can do hit, miss, or classified. We strongly discourage the use of classified.
Yes. I got my old Battleship game out this week, and
Okay, good. Excellent. All right.
Ready to go. Ready to go.
All right, Captain. We're in season 12. In season 12, Randall Rockwell will start his own absurd radio show.
well, I'm gonna have to go with classified on that one.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Okay.
I was wondering if Randall Rockwell was gonna. Yeah. All
Yeah.
right. In
Love
season
that
12,
character.
Edie and Lucas will find a way to teach everybody that politics is about people.
That's a great prognostication, and I'm gonna say hit.
Ooh.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Okay. Allie's wolf species will not mix well with Edie's pasturing cattle.
Miss.
Oh, interesting.
All right.
Traveling theater group will show up to bring drama to Rosie's radio hour.
It's a great story idea. I wish I would have thought of that.
That was Marianne Klein
Okay.
in our talk last, there you go. She was
I'm just gonna be mysterious, classified on that one.
Okay.
Interesting. All right. Nathan will confront Hargraves and advocate for his ace cadet Oliver.
That hit is too easy.
Oh, okay.
All
right.
okay.
All right.
Step it up, Hearties. He's saying it's too.
I was going to say. All right. Faith and Bill established themselves as Hope Valley's first marriage therapists.
In spirit only, hit.
In spirit.
I feel like multiple cast members have discussed the need for a Hope Valley therapist. So.
Totally. Yes.
They're all therapists with each other all the time.
Really,
True story.
they
Yeah, true
are.
story. Yeah.
Hazelnut hammering to music becomes all the rage at 20s speakeasies.
I wish we could say yes to that, but it's a great idea, but miss.
Oh, it's not
Hard.
going to take
I was
off.
looking forward to that one.
Me too. Could do
I love
the Charleston
All right.
to it, right?
All right. Well, we got a little.
Exactly.
So,
Just
okay. Hearties, thank you for your guesses. You are spot on some things and way off on others. So there.
Keep it coming.
Yes, thank
I was
you.
gonna say,
Thank you. I love playing this game.
make sure you just
We
reply or
welcome your
whatever.
ideas,
Yeah.
your guesses, your predictions. Keep them coming, especially early in the season when it could go any direction. So
Perfect.
All
right.
those great Hearties that do fan fiction. This is what it's about. Like you
right,
guys
this is your chance.
Great,
Oh,
great
perfect.
stories, man. Make your own TV show. I love
Yeah.
it. Great
Well,
idea.
thank you, Brian. I appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. Blessings. See you back in Hope Valley next
See you
week.
next time.
So that was fun. Another Heartieship on in the bank. And so if you have any predictions, just do comments below. We'll enjoy what kinds of things are you thinking for another Heartieship. So subscribe with the YouTube channel. Make sure that you click the notification so that when we drop another episode for Heart to Hearties, you'll know where it is or when it is. Also, we're pleased to announce that Heart to Hearties is now part of the podcast platforms. So you can find Heart to Hearties in Apple, Spotify, Amazon, and iHeart right now. So enjoy these conversations when you're doing some errands or working out. Just subscribe with those podcasts, whatever, where you enjoy those as an audible option. So Sunday, When Calls the Heart, 9/8 Central on Hallmark Channel and or Super Channel with Canada. And we will see you there.